We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Vikings Uncensored. 132, I believe we are at this week. Boy, what a week.
Great week.
Yeah, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, and a little bit of everything in between. But we have reached New Orleans Saints weekend as they travel to U.S. Bank Stadium on Sunday to take on the Vikings. First time we have played the Saints, I believe, since the departure of the departure of the asshole in the visor who is now in Denver, who we'll see next week. So, but anyway, we've got a few news things we'll hit here first. Bunch of Vikings-related stuff, a couple of non-Vikings related things. And then we'll roll into the regular preview portion, predictions, and all kinds of good stuff like that. So without any further ado, let's get rolling. First off, one of the quarterbacks, free agent quarterbacks that was rumored to, at least through the fan base, as a potential backup or additional quarterback for the Vikings, Carson Wentz signed a deal this week finally with the Los Angeles Rams. Sounds like they're on their bye this week. Sounds like they're going to try to get him ready to start next week because Matthew Stafford has a thumb injury and is going to be out for a couple of weeks. So they brought Wentz in and have the bye week to, they have a bye week to get their quarterback ready. We don't need no stinking bye week to get a quarterback ready. We just need 20 minutes and
sip of coffee
and Kevin O'Connell in the headsets. But of course, looking back a little bit on last week, Cam Akers officially done for the year with an Achilles tear. Silver lining to that, though, is the trade compensation, that swap of 6th and 7th round picks in, was it 25 or 26, whatever it was, is now null and void because Cam Akers did not achieve 500 yards of total offense. So other than the salary we paid him, we got Cam Akers for free. So that,
yeah, awesome.
I
will say though about Cam Akers, that block against that fucking defensive tackle to get.
He laid him out good.
Dobbs gets out of it. Will keep, and he's going to keep running. Leaping.
That was impressive.
That was impressive. What a hell of a block.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's going to be missed, and we're going to have to take up the slack someplace
too this weekend.
Yeah.
This past weekend, he was huge on the sidelines as well as every other week. He's going to be missed in the locker room and on the sidelines. So.
Yep. So, we'll see how things go, whether we decide to bring him back or not next year because he's on the last year of his deal. But, we'll see how things go. But, in his absence, it's going to be up to Ty Chandler, Kene Nwangwu, and, if we decide to bring Dwayne McBride up off the practice squad right now anyway to fill the void.
something's got to happen.
Yeah.
Regardless, in that
Yeah,
run game.
They've already said Ty Chandler will be running back 2 this week,
and I'm looking forward to seeing more of Ty Chandler. To be honest,
yeah,
with you. I've been asking
more than like 3 or 4 carries. I'd like to see him get 10.
Yeah,
but
and it seems to me he plays really well on the screen as well, which would be all right.
Yeah, it's from what I've heard, and some of the reason why he wasn't playing all that much is he struggles a little bit in picking up blitzes and things like that. But we'll see how he does.
You got a mobile quarterback that's a little bit less,
Yeah, it's not quite so critical, like as we saw last weekend with Dobbs pulling multiple Houdini acts and taking off and getting some. That was the first,
man. I talked about that too. That's going to be a big thing too, as well.
Yep, because that was the first time in, I think it was since 2012 that a Vikings quarterback had rushed for over 50 yards. I think it was.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
all these comparisons to Teddy Bridgewater have got to stop. I'm going to put a squash to that right now.
He is not.
Josh Dobbs is completely nothing like Teddy Bridgewater.
I'm closer to Teddy Bridgewater than Josh Dobbs is.
Right, and I've been hearing it. I've heard it from 3 or 4 different outlets.
That's one I hadn't heard yet. But yeah, he is in no way, shape, or form is Josh Dobbs comparable to Teddy Bridgewater.
I've heard it 3 or 4 times this week about the comparisons between, or since it's been since Teddy Bridgewater since we've had a quarterback like this. We haven't.
Josh Dobbs is already better than Teddy. Done more here than Teddy Bridgewater did. Yeah. And now the remaining Teddy Tubbies are going to come out of the woodwork and at me on that.
I was just going to say that. No, you're looking at more. I mean, I don't think as far as dynamic on his legs go, but Culpepper would be a little bit more closer. As far as Dobbs is a little bit more lanky and not maybe as.
Culpepper was a lot bigger.
Exactly. But I mean, as far as
Christian Ponder ran around a lot, and that would have been the one. That was he was the one that had the 50 plus yards in 2012, I believe. So.
I mean, his running style as a quarterback reminds me a lot of Joe Webb, but a little bit more elusive. But a lot better as far as a quarterback goes than Joe Webb, though, of course. Yeah. Absolutely. I have more faith in Dobbs' ability than I ever did in Webb's.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say he's not Teddy Bridgewater. I've heard it a few times. Let's just clarify that.
No, he's not Teddy Bridgewater. However, he is the NFC Offensive Player of the Week for his performance last Sunday, coming in relief after, of course, Jaron Hall goes down after a pretty impressive looking drive in the second quarter there, or second drive of the game, rather. He was not only named Offensive Player of the Week, but for the NFC, he was also named Nickelodeon's MVP of the week, and got to do the whole slime thing, everything else, which is cool.
I mean, I love it. I love it, but I think we just need to pump the brakes a little bit. I think keep waiting and see. I want the best to happen, of course. All what you are thinking out there, all the positivity and all that, I want that to happen. But at the same time, let's see what this guy does down a stretch of games. And this does not take Jaron Hall out of the future equation either by any means.
No, it doesn't.
People are upset because we're not hitching our wagons to Jaron Hall right away. But Jaron Hall's not going anywhere. He's under a 4-year contract. What we did see was fantastic. I was happy with what I seen out of Jaron Hall. When he went down, I was really discouraged. But then Dobbs, that's what it's all about, man. And Dobbs came in and he showed what he can do. And with the problem that we have now is more of a good problem to have, because I feel like we can win with both these guys that we have in the quarterback room right now.
Yeah. Mike's biggest concern I have with the whole Dobbs thing right now is after last Sunday, the expectations are just automatic, knee-jerk nation through the freaking roof. The first time this kid struggles, you're going to have
what I'm getting at. Yeah.
You're going to have certain people that are just going to completely lose their mind and he's garbage. We got to get rid of him, this, that, and everything. I don't want to see that for that kid. What he did last Sunday was nothing short of impressive.
Yeah.
But I don't want to anoint him the next Patrick Mahomes either.
Yeah. And I spent the majority of this past week going back and just watching tape on Dobbs from Tennessee, the Vols, and then, his starts that he's had so far in the NFL. And I mean, this team people say that you know what a quarterback is after so long. But this Vikings team is a team, and we proved that this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, with everybody that went down, well, even all season long. I mean, since you brought up injuries, this is the list of Vikings injuries that we've had to deal with for our key players this year. Of course, Kirk Cousins goes down with an Achilles tear, out for the year. Cam Akers goes down with an Achilles tear, out for the year. Justin Jefferson, hamstring injury, has already missed 4 weeks. Most likely will not play this week again, so he'll miss at least 5 games. Christian Darrisaw has missed 2 games from various injuries, now dealing with a groin issue, and not sure if he plays this week or not, so there's that. Garrett Bradbury
had a hell of a good game.
Yep. Garrett Bradbury has missed 3 games with a back injury. Marcus Davenport.
Bradbury better.
Marcus Davenport has missed 6 games with his ankle stuff. Nick Mullins.
Absence. Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins is still on injury reserve. He's missed. He will have missed 5 weeks now. He's eligible to come back, but since they did not activate him this week, and the same time they did Justin Jefferson into that return to practice window. I think there's something more going on there. So
I'm almost happy that Nick Mullins isn't running this offense right now. You know, I mean, all respect to Nick Mullins and all he's done, but in hindsight, I'm glad that we have somebody that sparked this team. Basically, I mean, you can't deny it. You can't deny the spark that happened, and I don't know if Nick Mullins brings that spark. So
yeah, I don't think, probably not. I mean, Nick Mullins is a solid backup, but he's
no doubt
he doesn't have he doesn't have that dynamic ability that both Jaron Hall and Josh Dobbs showed. With running the ball and that kind of stuff.
I believe we know who Nick Mullins is and what he brings to the game. The excitement for me is the unknowns with Josh Dobbs and Jaron Hall. I don't believe that we've seen the best of Josh Dobbs in this league, and I believe this offense could bring that out of him. He could play his way into, a starting role or the best backup in the league, to say the least. Jaron Hall, once again, like I said before, he looked great on Sunday. That's what excites me about our 2 guys that we have in the quarterback room right now. No disrespect to Nick Mullins, because he's a solid backup too. But the thing that excites me is the unknowns with these other guys.
Yeah,
and the potential.
Right. Few just to finish off the injury list here. Okay, we mentioned Nick Mullins. Jaron Hall, of course, now missed most of 1 game and will miss a 2nd game with a concussion. Ezra Cleveland missed a couple of games before he got traded. Jalen Naylor has been out all year to this point. Kene Nwangwu has only played in 1 game. KJ Osborne out with a concussion now. Unlikely he plays this week. Brian Asamoah has missed a couple of games. And also TJ Hawkinson and Josh Metellus have been playing through injuries. So, yeah, I mean, we've had no shortage of.
Some of the greatest teams that have played have been the teams that have been able to overcome losses in their starters and still go out and be competitive and win games. And that's exactly what is going on here in Minnesota right now. And I don't know if Flores' defense has peaked yet, but it continues. I mean, people are talking about the score and how many points we gave up, but this weekend was purely situational football at its finest, Ryno. And Flores, as a defensive coordinator, put on a fucking clinic this weekend.
Yeah. Well, and it's the whole next man up mantra is extremely cliche in sports, but this team is showing that. I mean, okay, Kirk Cousins goes down. All right, Jaron Hall comes in, leads a team on scoring drive. Oh, Hall gets hurt at the end of that play. Josh Dobbs off, basically doesn't even have his bags unpacked yet. Didn't know the names of a lot of the guys he was playing with. The offensive line had never heard his cadence before. They were practicing his cadence while the defense was on the field before they went out for that first drive.
Who do you think on that last touchdown play? Guess who the corner was that got Powell scored on?
Didn't pay attention to who that was, but
Mike fucking Hughes, Ryno.
Mike Hughes. Yeah, well, there's another one. Okay, not only Jefferson, but KJ Osborne go down. Brandon Powell has stepped up the last 2 or 3 weeks in there too, and he is.
We've been seeing it. We've been calling
playing.
it. He's been slippery.
Yeah,
sneaky good. A fantastic slot guy.
Powell is becoming the next variation of Jarius Wright.
Yeah, I just a notch higher, I believe, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, you said, but I mean that kind of a player, the one that you don't necessarily hear too much from, but when you do hear something from him, it's something significant.
Yep.
That steady guy that's going to go in there and get you those yards when you need them, kind of a thing. Third down wide receiver kind of guy. You mentioned before, Quisenberry came in and started for Christian Darrisaw. He gave up one pressure and one hurry. That was it.
Yep. And
I thought Quisenberry played a hell of a game.
That was probably the ugliest play of the game, was that safety, in my opinion, of the previous against the Falcons. That's probably the ugliest play of the game. And on all 3 levels. So
yeah.
But people have been bitching about the run blocking this year, and rightfully so. But they're putting a lot of the emphasis on these offensive linemen and not doing their run blocking right. But that's not fair. That's not fair.
No.
And I believe it has a lot to do with the running backs as well that are getting the carries. I mean, Akers has had some good looks. Madison has had some good looks here and there. But you can't continuously run into the back ends of your fucking butt blockers. Right. It's not all on the offensive line. And the PFF grades, they're nice to look at, but it doesn't. I don't think it brings into the fact that the running backs aren't helping their linemen out as well. Basically,
no, doesn't seem like it. Talking about the running game, like we mentioned. Chandler will be running back 2 this week. I'm kind of surprised we didn't sign anybody else this week after Akers went down. One guy I expected to see sign, and it still could happen. Myles Gaskin. No. I don't. Myles Gaskin got released from the Rams. We had him on our practice squad. The Rams poached him. Now they released him this week.
It's be like the 4th time we brought him back.
Yeah. I kind of figured that we would bring him back, and maybe they called him and he said no. I don't know, but
right. I've already been there fucking 4 times. I don't want to go through this carousel again.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see how things go this weekend. If things don't go well, they'll probably be in the market. There isn't much for running backs out there right now. That's the problem. But
if we can get this running game fixed, Ryno. That would be huge.
Yeah,
that would be huge.
If Dobbs continues to show the wheels like he did last week, that quarterback run game
will help out.
Be just as effective as that.
And that what that will also help out in the run pass option plays as well.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, yeah, exactly. So I mean, if we can figure out how to generate positive yardage on these run plays. Because a lot of times it feels like these I'm not going to slight KOCNS play calling, but a lot of these run calls are feeling forced at times, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's first down, we better run. That doesn't mean whatever. Or the situational running is feeling forced. So, if we can fix it, then that would be fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just in simple layman's terms. It needs to get looked at and it needs to get fixed. I know they're trying, but there's got to be a way.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way to generate yards with the running back. Somebody.
Yeah.
And I think Dobbs will also have an impact on that, like we had mentioned.
Yeah, I think so. The other news, of course, this week, Justin Jefferson, his one-day practice window, eligible to return. He is practicing on a limited basis. Probably not playing this week. I would be very surprised if he does. Jefferson himself had a press conference on Thursday saying he's kind of day-to-day, but he said he does not want to go out there when he's 80 to 90%, which I agree with 100%. Take the time, make sure you are 100%, because as you and I both know, hamstring injuries, if they're not completely healed, you can re-aggravate them and it becomes a year-long problem.
Ryno, how much do you think the absence of Jefferson has helped out Addison as far as his development
I think it's been huge. I mean, I'm not going to be one of these guys that say, "Oh yeah, we don't need Justin Jefferson, we can trade him." No, but putting Jordan Addison as that wide receiver one in Jefferson's absence has been huge to get that guy up. And he's become everything that we expected him to be, and probably more.
Yeah, and with that being said, we still haven't seen this offense, with like Addison at the next level and is progressing, and with Jefferson coming back. I mean, with Dobbs and his scrambling ability and the coverage that defenses are going to have to run, it's going to be interesting because somebody's going to have to peel off their coverage to spy on Dobbs.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, with the receivers and with our receivers and the way they are able to get separation, it's good. I think we're setting ourselves up for something pretty entertaining, to say the least, for the rest of the year.
Absolutely. And okay, I'm going to preface this again by saying this is no slight at Kirk, because Kirk has played extremely well.
Yeah, and with the way you have to say that before you mention anything. But yes, absolutely, this is no slight at Kirk. Kirk won us over.
That's why I'm doing it. But just having that running quarterback, that scrambling ability of a quarterback firsthand last weekend, that opens up so many more avenues. People always wonder how the hell are the Chiefs to plug and play pretty much any wide receiver that they find on a street corner in there and be successful with it. It's because Patrick Mahomes is mobile. He plays off script. He does all that. And now, again, I'm not comparing Josh Dobbs to Patrick Mahomes, because Patrick Mahomes is on his own level and everybody else is down here.
To simplify these things, with the receivers, with our receivers and the separation they're able to grab right now, imagine the separation they're going to get when the defenders have to keep their eye on Dobbs taking off as well. Because that's like that separation just got much bigger with having to account for. That's why, it's not about Mahomes and Dobbs being the same quarterback. It's about what they do as quarterback.
Right.
And
it's not just Mahomes. It's a Josh Allen in Buffalo. It's, Jalen Hurts. It's
your
Lamar Jackson. It's that
get separation, and with the separation of receivers already get on their own, they're going to be like, how in the hell are these guys that wide open? It all comes back to Dobbs being able to make the play, Ryno. That's just
exactly, and that's like you said, the receivers are going to be dragging the cornerbacks down the field, and all of a sudden Dobbs takes off and runs. There's not going to be anybody to tackle him for 15, 20 yards.
Yep. And the way Dobbs runs is smart, and the dude is physical. I mean, he's willing, but the thing, he's got to hold on to the ball.
Yep. Yeah, he does tend to get that ball a little bit too far out there, and he needs to tuck that in once he takes off, tuck it and hold it in
and
tight.
He's self-aware enough to fix that, I believe. He's self-aware enough to get that fixed, I believe.
Hopefully,
and I think that he could play himself into a starting role, and we'll see. Time will tell.
Yep.
I'll be at the game this Sunday, by the way. So I'll be keeping a
Sweet.
close eye on. Yeah, I'll be keeping a close eye on everything firsthand.
Yeah.
So,
well, speaking of the game on Sunday, how about we roll into the preview section? You're just a segue master here tonight. It just
I know it's
everything's just flowing.
Everything.
Of course, we're recording here on Thursday night, so we haven't seen, of course, the Friday injury report. But as of Thursday, Harrison Smith did not practice, but it was just a veteran rest day. Jaron Hall did not practice due to concussion. Limited was Brian Asamoah with an ankle, Christian Darrisaw with his groin, TJ Hawkinson with his ribs, Justin Jefferson hamstring, Dean Lowry groin, Johnny Munt knee, and KJ Osborne concussion. He did practice on a limited basis, so he had to have cleared concussion protocol.
I'm not so certain that when Lowry gets back to 100% that he's not splitting more snaps with Roy.
Yeah, Ja'Kalen Roy has stepped up. He's another one of those next man up guys that has stepped up and played pretty decently.
Not only does he already bring what Dean Lowry brings to the table, but he adds even more to it. He adds more.
Yeah,
to
he's got more interior pass rush ability. Yep.
Yes. And the guy's a beast. I mean, I believe that Roy's going to see more playing time too down the stretch.
Well, he's wearing 93. He better.
I love it.
Live up to the number.
Yeah.
The only other guy on the injury two other ones on Thursday were full participants: Jalen Naylor with a hamstring and Josh Reed with a foot. Now Reed and Jefferson are still in that 21-day window, practice time. Jalen Naylor has been removed from that, so it's very likely Jalen Naylor will be playing this weekend.
Or a scratch,
which would be
along either or.
Yeah, I mean, which would be great to get him out there, especially if Osborne can't go. Or
it's kind of the tail of it with Naylor. Even in his college days, he can't stay healthy. So I mean,
yeah,
well,
he's already missed 9 games this year. I mean, it's So we'll see about that.
Yeah.
But
no, I wanted to say, I'll keep for the wrap up for there's another thing I wanted, a bullet point that got here I wanted to hit on, but we'll keep it for the wrap up at the end of the show.
Okay. So then we'll move on to our tail of the tape that we do every week here. Starting off again with the offense, as we always do. Points. The Vikings are 9th in the league in points. New Orleans is 12th.
Oh, by the way, the most points we put up all year season was this past Sunday.
Yeah. First time we went over 30.
A little asterisk there.
Right.
If you don't know, now you know.
Right. Total yards, Vikings are 6th in the league. New Orleans is 10th. Yards per play, the Vikings are 7th. New Orleans is 21st. Passing offense, Vikings are 2nd in the league, even without Kirk Cousins. New Orleans is 7th. Rushing offense, of course, this goes the other way. New Orleans is 14th. Vikings are 27th. And then turnovers, New Orleans is 10th in the league. We are 30th. Now,
that was because of the start. A lot of that goes back to the way we started the season.
It does.
Because
I mean, during this 4-game win streak, we're one of the better teams in the league as far as turnovers go.
Yeah, that's telling you enough right there. Like I said, hopefully throughout the season we can get that number up to like at least the mid-teens, because it's like I said, we dug that hole already, and we're crawling out is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So
the 2 that Dobbs had on Sunday didn't help, but I'm not holding those against him just for the whole situation.
No. Was I frustrated with it? Yes.
Yeah.
Was I starting to lose my confidence in Dobbs because of it? Absolutely. But once the kid settled down and started making plays, then I rolled with it, and I call it, I call a spade a spade. So, stick it with that.
All right, rolling over to the defensive side of things. points, the Saints are 16th. Vikings are 19th.
This is what scares me on the Saints is their defense. That's the strong point of their whole team is this defense that we're going to be facing.
It is, but yards, total yards, New Orleans 13th, Minnesota 19th. So I mean, we talked about beginning of the year, if we could get top 15 to 20 in the league in defense, we would consider that a win. We're not right now.
Top 10. We're going to be top 10 before season's end. I'll tell you that right now. I've been saying it since day one.
Top 10 might be a little aggressive, but I think we can reach top 15.
Nope. I think maybe this last weekend might have been our peak as far as where our defense is going to be, but I don't know. We'll see. This game though coming up is a playoff game.
Yeah.
For real. You lose this game, your percentage to make the playoffs goes down to the 40s. You win this game, and it bumps us up into the 70s. So that's just another little nugget there for y'all.
Right. Yards per play. Actually, the Vikings and the Saints are tied for 7th, along with the New England Patriots. Against the pass, New Orleans is 8th against the pass. We are 24th. Rushing, we're up to 14th. Saints are at 20th. Turnovers, the Saints are actually 2nd in the league in turnover and causing turnovers, which is a little worrisome. We're up to 16th now though, so that we're making that progress up the ladder. I think we've had a turnover now in 5 straight games or caused at least one.
Mm-hmm.
Then into some of the more advanced
scrappy, dude.
Yep, they are. Guys like Byron Murphy,
Josh Metellus is a perfect example.
Mm-hmm. But even Byron Murphy in the last couple of weeks, he's combining them. Yep.
Ivan Page Jr. is getting there.
He blew up 2 guys.
What's that?
There was one play last week where Pace took on 2 guys, blew them up, and while he was doing that, Harrison Phillips drops into coverage, and Ivan Pace still gets in there to blow the play up.
Yeah, it's those small things that you don't notice until you go back and look. And with the help that Pace, I mean, that was Pace's sack, but he gave it to Hicks. Pace should have wrapped him up and brought him down, but Hicks came and cleaned it up, which is great.
Right.
Pace. He continues to amaze me, and like I said, it's not the big eye-popping plays; it's those small things that lead to success as a team on defense.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, the kid's a heat-seeking missile out there. It's just
and his pass coverage has gotten better. I mean, that was a big question mark coming in, and it's been pretty darn good in my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway, though, on this campaign,
absolutely, absolutely.
And, arguably a Pro Bowler this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, you can make that. You can definitely make that argument, and I would.
He looks faster.
I can stand behind that.
He's playing better. This addition of Flores as defensive coordinator has done everything we said it would do and more. It's night and day, like we said. From Donatel's defense is night and day. And they're proving it right now. And what he's done with Hicks at his age, it's fantastic. Like I said, it seems like he's even playing faster, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
He is. So. Yeah. Well, and then look at what Danielle Hunter still leading the league in sacks.
Well, you got Donatel having him go into coverage at 5% of the time, and now Flores has only got him down to 2%. I mean, yes, he does go back in coverage from time to time, but not like he was with Donatel, like following the receivers down the field. He might drop back 5 or 10 yards, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's picking up a running back coming out of the backfield or something like that. It's not
either way. Hunter's making plays all over that field this season. It's he's all in the defensive player of the year conversation.
Yep, he's also at or near the top. I don't know if he's still first, but in tackles for loss too. So I mean, it's just showing that he's in there sticking his nose in there making plays.
Huge on that goal line series after that Dobbs fumble. 2 of those plays he was making in the backfield. He made earthquake that he made in the backfield. Yeah, no, it wasn't an actual earthquake, right? But I'm good.
Yeah, there's not too many earthquakes in Minnesota. But yeah, Vikings are sitting 13th in the league in sacks right now. New Orleans is 29th. So they don't sack the quarterback a lot, which is kind of odd, especially when you got, Cam Jordan, guys like that typically have pretty good sack totals, but must be because we took Marcus Davenport away from him. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Blitz percentage. Again, this week, we didn't blitz near as much as he has been in games past.
It's because Flores is mind fucking the entire league this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's a goddamn.
And with that, this week, the blitz percentage dropped down to a paltry 51.3 now for the season. We are, of course, still first in the league with that, of course, to no one's surprise. New Orleans is sitting at 22nd in the league in blitz percentage at 23.4%. Pressure percentage, Vikings are at 19th at 21.3, and the Saints are 23rd at 19.7. So, I mean, again, the Saints are.
So,
yeah, the defenses, at least numbers wise, are fairly similar for a lot of this.
Yep.
And New Orleans' defense is what we have to account for the most, I think.
Right.
Derek Carr doesn't.
I think last time we played Derek Carr when he was a Raider, we spanked him. I mean, he just didn't know what to do.
I think he had like 3 turnovers and we sacked him. I don't know how many times. And I think we can do that again.
I think we can. I'm not going to say that's going to happen because let's just not do that. But we've seen it before. We'll go there. We'll go there with it. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
Let's hope we can replicate.
But I mean, that being said, they still have weapons on offense too. They got Chris Olave there. Alvin Kamara still there at running back. He's not.
That's the X factor for me on offense for them is Kamara.
Yeah. Still have Mike Thomas, who actually I think is healthy at this point, so he'll be playing.
Yes. Yep.
Beyond that, their offense doesn't worry me all that much, and I think Flores is going to have a good game plan for them.
I agree. I do. I believe so as well.
It's just that defense that we're going to have to account for, but I think the team will be up to the task. This U.S. Bank Stadium is going to be rocking.
The team that scores the most points wins the game.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your deep, insightful thoughts by Lance Bruns. Thank you, Captain Obvious. But anyway, got anything else? Yeah.
No.
I might not know much, but I know that.
I know math.
Yep.
1 + 1 is 3, right?
Exactly. Anyway, with that, I think we're going to roll into our viral video of the week. So why don't you head on yourself over to the fridge, grab yourself a cold one, crack it open, check this out. Will be just a minute.
It is really cool back there.
Sideline throw a little high. Addison, it's a catch. It's ruled a catch despite the hit. Yeah. You're right. That's the left foot.
One there, and then the other one right there. And he's got
that is an amazing catch. He's got all day. He's going to run. He's got a lot of room to run. He'll go out of bounds inside the 35. Dobbs on 4th down. The pressure's coming. He gets away for the moment, but look out from behind. He's going to get the first down. He's going to get more than that. And knocked out of bounds. First down, Minnesota. The Dobbs effect.
We talked about leaky yardage. We talked about Dobbs right here. Bud Debris coming off the edge. He's going to get the pass rush. Somehow, Dobbs gets away from it and then has the speed and athleticism to break a couple of tackles and find the presence to get himself out of bounds. I tell you what, this guy has just been amazing. Running the football and creating play.
3rd and 4. Time. and they have the lead.
All right, we are back. And again, it is time for our regionally fairly well-known, not quite world famous, but still fairly well-received predictions segment of the week. Where we not only at, of course, the Vikings game, but we also look at the rest of our rivals in the NFC North to see what they are doing and kind of get ahead on what we think they're going to do for the week. Of course, watching this on Friday, the Chicago-Carolina have already happened on Thursday night. Will anybody know? I don't know. This is the work. I saw this today when I was doing show prep. Chicago can actually help their draft pick status by winning the game tonight because they have Carolina's number 1 pick, and it'll make Carolina worse.
I honestly can't even if we were to pick this game, I don't know who's going to win it. It's going to be a battle of the losers. So
yeah, it could very well end up in a 0-0 tie for all that,
Negative numbers for the first time in the NFL.
Yeah. So anyway, we won't worry about the Bears. The rest of the games, all, of course, Sunday games. Starting off with the Green Bay Packers traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. What do you think here, Lance?
I think the Steelers are without Pickett still, I believe. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah,
but
as of earlier in the week, anyway, he was questionable. I don't know.
I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I mean, Tomlin's he's a tough play either way. He isn't one to take any team lightly. He's a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches to win. So I'm gonna go with Tomlin here, and the Steelers.
Yeah. If this game was in Green Bay, I think it probably goes the other way. Green Bay looked pretty decent last week, albeit against a not so great team. But Tomlin's defense is he's always got it legit. I mean, they got TJ Watt over there and that stuff. So, God, I'm torn on this. If Kenny Pickett was playing, I think it would be fairly cut and dried on the Steelers winning this game.
I don't even know about that. I'm not that high on Kenny Pickett, to be honest with you.
I mean, he's a decent quarterback, but
he's still developing, obviously. But I'm not sold on him yet as far as a starting.
I'm not sold on Jordan Love either, and that's where I'm torn on this one. But since it's at home, I'm going Pittsburgh. I think if it was in Green Bay, I'd go the Packers, but we'll take Pittsburgh on that one as well. The next game is the Motor City Kitties traveling down to Los Angeles to take on the San Diego Chargers of LA, where nobody cares that the Chargers play there usually. So what do you think on that one?
I got the lines in this one. It just comes down to coaching. We should have beat the Chargers earlier in the season. Staley is an idiot as a head coach. Especially in situational football, I believe. I feel sorry for the players that are there that, like Herbert, I would love to see them win some games, but they need to switch at head coach. And I think Detroit's just too good of a team to lose against the Chargers.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you.
Questionable play calling too in situational football as well, but I have more confidence in Campbell than I do in Staley.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one, mainly because I think this is one of the few remaining games on the Lions schedule where they can stub their toe and, falter at this. It's on the road, which, I mean, playing on the road in Los Angeles is not really a detriment because the away teams tend to bring more fans than the home team does. But if there's one place where the Lions can be had, it's in the pass game. And
well,
with Keenan Allen and with Herbert out there, they can put up some yards and they can put up some points.
last time I picked the Lions to win, they got their asses spanked. So hopefully that it's
Yeah. So I'm gonna take the Chargers on this one, just for the simple fact that we need Detroit to lose a game here, and there's not much other chance of that happening until they play us.
And by the way, if we win out and they win out, we win the division in the tiebreaker. So
correct.
Just putting that out there.
Yep. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. But
right.
I'm going to take the Chargers here, but probably more for the fact that we need Detroit to lose than we'll see how Detroit recovers, I guess. But
they're coming off their bye too, so it'll be interesting.
Right. Yep. And then, of course, coming down to the final game that matters, the Vikings hosting the New Orleans Saints at noon, U.S. Bank Stadium. Brunswick will be in attendance. So what do you expect to see while you're sitting there in a crowd of 64,000 screaming, SKOL chanting Vikings fans?
Loud this week. I guarantee it. With this run that we're on, I'm going to hear it this weekend. It's going to be loud. I mean, and for all you fans out there that are going to be at the game, be loud. Let's make it rock up in there. I hope to see more out of the offense. Take this offense. We've seen good stuff in the second half of that game. I want to keep building off of that. I want to see what Josh Dobbs looks like after a week and a half in the playbook and get more comfortable in the system that we're running right now. Defensively, I want to, stay the course, be opportunistic like we have been the last 4 weeks. Special teams continue to remain, good, decent, good. Make your fucking field goals. Make your extra points. Don't allow big returns. So, I look for us to play a clean game, and if we do that, we're going to be just fine, and we're going to walk away with the win. Both teams are sitting at 5-4, so both need this win badly to keep up in the playoff race.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head pretty much with a lot of that stuff there. I think with that crowd rocking the way it is, it's going to make it tough on Carr and the offense. The defense, Flores is going to have a game plan set up to attack him, and I think they're going to make his life miserable. I can see him turning the ball over once or twice. I would not be shocked to see us get 3 or 4 sacks on him. I think it's going to be that kind of a defensive game. And on the offensive side of things, even though we're down guys, this running ability at the quarterback position is going to unlock, and then that, in this offense, I think you're going to see more of those run pass out. And with Dobbs still learning the playbook, it's going to be a little bit more simplified, like it was last week. 1-2 read and go kind of thing. If you don't see anything open, and I think
even though he was only been here for 3 days, he was going through his progressions in real time as the game was going on. So I mean,
but
he's not one guy he's not a guy that's gonna stare down his receiver. I mean, that's good to see as well.
No. But with that, I think, and you start racking off a couple of big plays in the pass game, or him taking off and running for 10, 15 yards. I mean, that's going to make that crowd even more electric. And I think we're going to see the true home field advantage this week.
A question on Dobbs coming out of college was not having the greatest arm strength. I believe his arm strength has gotten better. And, I think who better to figure out how to get the arm strength better than a fucking engineer,
Yeah.
Well, The velocity that he was launching some of those passes out at last week, where I got fastballs, dude.
Yeah, and even if he doesn't have a howitzer, his arm is sufficient to make all the throws we need him to make in this offense.
I think his arm has gotten stronger. I think he's worked on that. I think there hasn't been a day that's gone by that Dobbs hasn't put in the work for this type of moment, in my opinion, with the good supporting cast around him. This is the best team he's been on from college to the pros.
Oh, it's not a question.
So
we're not even at 100%. So
I mean, and this was we said this before, for any quarterback coming in, this would be an ideal situation.
Mm-hmm.
So Dobbs, if you want to go out there and you want to cement your status as a starter in this league, then it starts. It continues this weekend in proving that.
Right.
I mean, people are comparing this guy to. I do, but don't. But people are comparing this guy to like Lamar Jackson in the way he runs the football. That 4th and 8 run against Atlanta was an elite mobile quarterback's play to make, and he made it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more of that. I don't want to see the situations like that, but I want to see more runs like that, making things happen with your feet. Just for
God's sake, don't get injured, because if he does, the only other quarterback we have this week is Sean freaking Mannion.
Yeah,
I do not want to see Sean Mannion. I would rather put Harrison Phillips back there at quarterback.
I honestly would rather play Tanner Morgan than fucking Sean Mannion at this point.
Yeah, I would too. And I'm not a Tanner Morgan fan by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. I would rather see Morgan than Mannion, to be honest. But that's just me and you. So.
But yeah, I think Vikings pull out a win here and we win our 5th straight. Move on to 6-4. We have a very winnable stretch of games coming up here. The next 4 of New Orleans this week. We have Denver, we have the Raiders, and we have the Packers again, I believe. Or is it the Bears? Bears and Packers yet.
Yeah, Bears and Packers, and then Lions, and then
we throw Cincinnati, which is going to be a very tough game. But so we got to win these winnable games, to get us at the best position we can, because we have 3 very tough games yet this year. So
we got to get to at least 10 wins if we want to set the playoffs this year. So, but we're on the right path. We're on the right path. We're doing what we need to do right now.
Yeah, it's in place. So, but with that, that's all we've got for this week. Again, want to thank everyone watching, following us along every week like you do. Everybody who's hitting the on our Facebook page, we've had an explosion of new followers and commenters and all that stuff on Facebook. Thank you guys so very much for joining us. Join the movement, Vikings Uncensored. We are the guys sitting around at the bar having a beer talking football podcast. But thank you, everybody. Keep up the faith, and let's just have fun with it. Win, lose, or whatever happens for the rest of the season, let's just have fun with it. So with that,
it's been entertaining nonetheless up to this point. So,
right.
Yeah.
So go ahead and take us out of here, Lance.
All right. This weekend, a lot of the things that we've seen, off-script plays that we don't normally see in this offense. When Kirk Cousins is here, not knocking Kirk, but things are boom, boom, boom. If it's not there, you can pretty much move on to the next play. This last weekend, I think I've seen more off-script plays on offense than I have all year in just that one game. Granted, Kirk was making more off-script plays than normal this year than he has in the past, and getting positive results out of it. The run blocking could use, like I said, like we said earlier in the show, could use some more consistency from both the running back and the offensive line. They need to work together to figure that out. Also, the Falcons, 6th ranked defense. So I don't want to hear nothing about, the Falcons were an easy team. And we both came into that game at 4-4, us versus the Falcons. The Falcons has the 6th ranked defense, so it's not easy to put up points on those guys. We hung 31 on those guys with our 4th string quarterback. So you got to give that some talk as well, or some thought. Ryno just hit on this a minute ago. Dobbs will help that run game this season. Dobbs will also, I believe, help those receivers. Having this type of quarterback in this system is going to be a good thing, and it all comes down to Dobbs making the plays, is what it is at the end of the day. Last Sunday, I think it was O'Connell's best game as a head coach in this league. It cemented him that he deserves to be a head coach, in my opinion. This guy's changed this culture here. He has. You could see it. You could see these guys they love playing for O'Connell. They believe in him. And this segues right into my last little point here before I let you all go. I almost felt like O'Connell was playing quarterback on Sunday. I almost felt like Dobbs was an extension of Kevin O'Connell. Like, it almost felt like Kevin O'Connell was playing the game at the quarterback position on Sunday, in my opinion. Just the way that Dobbs and Kevin made it work, it just felt like the guy that was running the plays on the field was an extension of O'Connell himself. The dude is a genius when it comes to football. He didn't have in his playing years, he wasn't a starter, but this is what he was meant to do. And that is coach a team, because he has it all. Everything that you want in a coach, he has it up here. And the best is yet to come with O'Connell and this team. And I'm excited. I'm very optimistic as a fan in the long term as well, from what I've seen so far. And like I said, O'Connell had a great game this weekend as far as a head coach goes. And it says a lot when, as a fan, I feel like I'm seeing the team emulate what the coach wants out of the coach himself. I felt like he was on the field. Obviously, it was Dobbs running the whole show, but O'Connell was the puppet master last weekend, in my opinion. That made it work. And with that being said, Aubrey, Millie, if you're out there watching, Dad loves and misses you. SKOL.
Have a good weekend, everybody.